Welcome, everybody. My name is Hannah Garrison, and I'm so excited to bring to you the very first health and wellness, artist edition for you guys from Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. Um, I also have MS, so I've actually I've been diagnosed for coming up on 5 years by this point. So not too long, but I'm not really a newbie either. I just kind of used art as my own stepping stone, I suppose, for trying to get better and using it for my own mental health and well-being. So I hope to share that with the MS community through the MS Foundation. So again, thank you guys for being here. And I guess I can jump right into it and show you guys what our project is going to be today. I just kind of thought that it would be a really good introduction into not only the class as a whole, but art in general, and even for the new year, a good intro into the new year. That's just kind of what I thought would be the goal for this project. It's a vision board. So if you are unfamiliar with a vision board, that's okay. Basically, it's sort of a visual, I guess, realization, or I guess a visual reminder of some of your goals and some of your good points. Your sort of think of it as an affirmation if you don't have any goals. And I did write down a few little pointers for you guys to think about whenever doing your vision board. So I'll sort of talk about it first for a little bit. But while I'm talking, I actually want to show you guys what kinds of materials you might need, just in case you need to get up and get something. I'll still be talking. I won't start yet. So, of course, you'll need a piece of paper. So I actually happen to have a black paper, and I don't even remember where I got it, but I just have some black paper. But you are, of course, welcome to use any piece of paper that you might have available to you. So for the purposes of this lesson, I will be using this one, but my examples are on the black paper. My paper is sturdy. So whatever paper you have, I do recommend that you make it on some sort of cardstock, perhaps, or if you happen to have a sketch pad, maybe something a little bit thicker from there. That way it's capable of holding the weight of any kind of magazines or other cardstock you might glump. So I just noticed right now, I need to like paint my nails again, so please forgive the the scratched up nail polish. So here's my paper. I also have these magazine clippings, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second here. Scissors, of course, for cutting out the magazines. If you are capable and if you have it, then an X-Acto knife. It's not 100% necessary. The scissors are more important, but I personally like to use an X-Acto knife because I like to be precise, a little bit more precise when I'm cutting my magazines out. You will need some glue, and I happen to have the bottle glue. And I have the bottle glue because I feel like it's more stable. You have a better chance of making it permanently stick onto the paper if it's a thicker glue. So just, regular Elmer's glue is good. Now you can either apply it with your finger, or if you have a sponge, or say maybe a paintbrush that you can throw away or wash easily, then you can use that as well. I won't be using the sponge here. I just use my finger because that's just how I am. I like to finger paint, so it's no big deal to me. But if you use your finger, then it is helpful to have some napkins handy, so you can, of course, wipe your fingers. Another thing to have on hand is perhaps another sheet of scrap paper. And for me, I just need to pour one out, or tear one out. So piece of paper, because let me bring my examples out again. I actually just drew a few little embellishments. So some stars here, simple things. And that's what this paper is supposed to be for. Just these little extras that you can use as paper filler, or perhaps, where's my other one? If you needed to add different kind of element, like mountains, for example. You can draw some little mountains, and I will go over that in a minute, just so you know. Flowers, if you needed a little extra fluff, I guess, for your pictures, that's what the paper's for. And you can also use, I've got some color pencils in here, or you can even use any kind of markers you have available to create those kinds of embellishments. Also an option, and I know this is a lot, so bear with me. I like to give a lot of options because I like for it to be flexible. I like for it to become yours. So you can also have some little markers that you can write over top of everything to create some more of those little embellishments yourself. So little swirlies right here. Not 100% necessary, but it's just sort of a little personal flair that I like to have for myself. So those are just ideas as well. So I mentioned earlier magazines, but of course you don't have to use magazines if you don't have the magazines too. Of course, I cut some out beforehand, so you can see that there. I happen to have one magazine where I pulled a lot of this from. But if you don't have that magazine, you are more than welcome to use a printer. I'm trying to find my little printer images here. Here we go. So of course I cut this out. I have this one. I have this one, me and my boyfriend. I have black and white ones as well. And you'll see why and what I can do with the black and white ones too. So just in case you don't have access to a color printer, you can certainly do this with black and white images as well. So now that I've said all that, gotten all that out of the way, let me dive into the process of actually creating your vision board. I have here my handy little notes right here where I actually wrote down some of the elements that you'll need to actually put into your vision board. But let me go ahead and jump down to the types of vision boards that are available. Basically, vision boards act as goals and reminders, but they can also be positive affirmations as well. So if you don't have any goals for New Year, that's okay. You're not being left out. And in fact, sometimes it's okay. And sometimes we need to just vegetate on who we are, just sort of absorb whatever we love about ourselves. And sometimes we need to put that into a visual aspect here. So that's what we can do too. Inspiration, they can be spiritual or career goals if you want that, personal goals if you want that. Mine is actually going to be based on travel because I love to travel and I don't get to do it very often. So that's okay. But sometimes I tend to forget about that and just sort of, I go about my day-to-day life, as is. I do recommend doing, if you don't know where to start, I recommend doing a little brainstorming session. And I wanted to show you a little bit about how my brainstorming session went. So just sort of set your intentions, manifesting, things like that. My health is, of course, very important to me. My mental health, of course, my treatments, my MS treatments is very, very important to me as well. It sort of runs with the health category. But hiking and biking are also very important to my mental well-being as well. Biking, I don't really do that. And that is actually something I would like to do go forward if I can. My pets, of course, extremely important to me. And I think that goes along with my mental health as well. So I'll just let you read the rest of that. I won't go through the whole thing. But of course, I need to breathe. Travel also fits in with my health as well. So I will, I guess, create my vision board based off of that. And this is just one aspect of me. Okay, you can create multiple vision boards based off of all of those aspects, any of these aspects that you feel like you need more work in, or maybe all these aspects of yourself that you really love, but you really kind of just need that reminder. Make multiple vision boards for yourself if that's the case. I'll focus on one category. It's going to be that travel category. So I've got a few things that I have cut out just for the sake of time, and just kind of bring them out the car. Because of course, got to get to your destination somehow, unless you fly there. I happen to like road trips. I also have a few other things that I printed out. Cheese. So there's a big old thing of cheese because, trying new foods actually makes me very happy as well. And I always love to try new foods whenever I travel. So I just happened to find that amazing picture. Waffles here because that ties in with trying new foods whenever I'm traveling. So that's just kind of the process, my mindset. Whenever I was looking through magazines, looking for these pictures, I happened to find a picture of lavender when I was going through these magazines. And I chose lavender because it reminds me of some of the fields of lavender that I've seen in Washington State. So this is kind of a personal thing. I've been to Washington State and love it so much. So let's see. Here is just some flowers because, I like to see the nature out there. I have a tiny little picture of a city. See that? Just a little city skyline. Let's see what else I've got here. I've got some blankets, picture of some blankets because I like to stay cozy when I'm in the car. Pillows, because why not have some pillows when you're road tripping in the car? Just so you can, I just wanted to say that out loud, just so you can kind of see what goes through my head whenever I'm actually looking through these magazines. Keep in mind that whenever I was going through these magazines, I took my time. So, and I do think it's very important to take your time going through these. Put some music on in the background. If you're able to just let your mind wander, I do feel like that's important. When I was going through this, I sort of related it to meditation. And that's because I just let my mind wander. I looked at one picture. It reminded me of a scene in a past. It may have reminded me of a scene from my past. Things like that. I just sort of let the thoughts flow. Didn't really stop them. Move on to the next picture and just let everything flow. So that's just kind of why it's good to just sort of let the music play in the background if that helps you. That way you don't really get too distracted. So I'm only going through this because I might want to take maybe one more picture. This is pretty cool. Like she's just kind of running in the mountains, but I want the clouds right there. Like the scenery is cool and all, but those clouds. One of my favorite things to do is just to look to the sky. Go outside, look at the sky. Look at what's up there and just sort of lose my mind or lose my thoughts for a moment. There we go. So that's all I wanted. Forgot to mention earlier, very important to have a trash can nearby because cutting out paper can be very messy, can make everything messy very quickly. So maybe I'll return to the magazine in a minute. I don't know yet. I also wanted to point out my black and white pictures. If you happen to have black and white pictures, then that is a-okay because you can always color them yourself. Now, I never like to make anything complicated. And in fact, if I could do things the easy way, I will often do it that way. So I just wanted to show you what I have here. So this is actually a picture of the Patagonia, or the mountains in Patagonia in Chile. I have always wanted to visit there, and I will one of these days. Can't say I can make the hike up to the mountain. It's certainly not a possibility right now, but I can dream, right? I at least want to see the mountains from afar. So what I have here is my black and white picture. Let me just kind of give it a background. And whatever medium I have, I'm going to take color pencil. I feel like color pencil is probably pretty easy to use. I can color on top of it myself. I can just kind of make it my own. I'm looking for a nice soft blue that I've got here. Here we go. Here's a nice blue, like a sky blue. So I can take this, and definitely don't need to make it perfect at all. My goal is just to put some color in the background, or anywhere really. That's all I want to do, is color it a little bit. I'm just going in between the clouds because I can. Not really trying to be perfect at all. If you take multiple of my classes, you will see that I don't actually aim for perfection. I aim for just doing it for the sake of doing it for myself. My goal is to just put some color back here. So that's what I'm doing. Now I could just take kind of a few little llama colors. What would that be? Brown or beige? Let's see, I have a nice little, it's called yellow ochre. And I'm just going to very non-delicately color in my little llama, and then I'll call it a day. I have always wanted to see llamas and alpacas in South America. You'll also find that I never really do what I say I'm gonna do. If I say I'm gonna stop and call it a day, I don't often mean it. There's always something that I can think of to do in my pictures. So obviously I'm turning this little picture into a bit more of a surreal picture. So basically, you can color and scribble all over anything you want, and I will not be the judge. See that? All right, so perhaps later I'll put a little bit more embellishments, but for now, I think that's okay. So that's another thing that you can do if you happen to have black and white pictures. So let's see. What else did I mention? I also have little pictures in case you're a doodler. You can actually take old doodles and repurpose them. So I'm the kind of person that will always, maybe I'll practice drawing something, but I'll draw them really small, and I never know what to do with the picture. Well, I happen to find this little gem in my sketchbook, and I decided that this little squirrel needs to be repurposed. So I am so happy to do so. And the reason I'm putting it in my travel vision board is because I love to look at the squirrels anywhere I go. And I know maybe it's a weird thing to do, but sightseeing all the animals, that includes all the squirrels. So it belongs. It just belongs in my travel vision board. So it seemed appropriate. So I'm actually not going to be precise with it right now. I do recommend just kind of chopping up your paper first and then kind of refining it afterwards. Almost done. Now I will definitely glue this using the thicker glue. And this is actually one reason I recommended using the thicker glue. It's made on, I drew it on cardboard, and the cardboard is just a thicker paper, so it wouldn't be able to stick if it was a like a stick of glue. So I think I have enough elements. I think I did pretty well on that. For now, at least. I will show you what you can do later on once you actually glue everything on top. So let's sort of lay out everything that we have to work with. So we got Mr. Squirrel there, flowers, clouds, lavender. Of course, clouds can go at the top. Got my cheese, got my llama. Let's see what we've got. I get Mr. Alpaca here at the top. Perhaps we can put a sky up there as well. Now, here's what you can do. Take all of your elements, just sort of spread them out if you can. Spread them out. That way you can see what you have and see how you can arrange it. This is what I do before anything, before I put any glue down and make anything permanent. See what you've got. I can put all the little things together. That way they don't get lost. Got my little lavender. Now I'm only putting the lavender down like this because it's a lot of lavender. It takes up a lot of space. Yeah, perhaps I can leave that there. Got this big old waffle there. Mr. Squirrel here. And actually, maybe I can turn this. Maybe I could put the lavender underneath there. Maybe under here. Like that. Now the car, to me, sort of signifies road trips, but I don't think it really fits here. I don't know. Don't think it quite fits there. Put the cheese there. Starting to seem like this vision board is dedicated to the squirrel. Got the cheese there, got plenty of like nature in the background. Although we do have these pillows here. And I put these pillows because I like being comfortable whenever I am traveling, whether that be like, I don't know, glamping. I can't really do camping, but I can do glamping. That makes me happy. Let's see. I have some more things here, but I'm not sure if too many of these things make too much sense. Except for maybe this one. I have this little thing, and I actually chose this image because it reminds me of an Airbnb that I stayed in several years ago. That was very nice, and I had such an amazing time there. So I'll just put that right there. Okay, so I have my vision board put together. At least the images are put together. I even have my lavender coming off the page, but I can always cut that later. So let's just sort of figure out what is there underneath everything else. I can see this one and this one so far. Just sort of think of it as a little puzzle. If it helps to take a picture of your setup beforehand, then by all means do that. Take a picture, whatever is easiest for your memory. Let's see. Now, I mentioned that I might be using my finger to spread everything. I wanted to show you, though, how I apply the glue. This is a way that maybe will let you avoid using a glue or an applicator of some sort. So if you can pick it up, notice how I put it on the edge there. I feel like it still gives you great coverage that way. You still might get messy though. Like me, definitely got some glue on my fingers. Sort of set it down, let it do its gluey thing. Got my napkin here. Good thing too. Okay, so next thing that was on the list was the lavender. Although I kind of like the idea of the lavender overlapping. Kind of play around with yours. See what configurations you like, and if you have to change it, then that is a-okay. That is totally fine. I'm gonna take this and I'm going to glue it down. Now, immediately I'm seeing that this line right here, I might want to change that. I might want to fix it somehow. And I'll show you how to do that in a moment. After I have everything glued down, I can add doodles to my drawing. And I'll show you that in a second. So for all of these things that are just sort of oddly shaped, I'm letting the glue kind of go into those oddly shaped areas. Especially if it's kind of sticking out there. You definitely want to make sure that that's well glued. There. I did a much better job at keeping my hands clean that time. Now I know I had Mr. Squirrel up here, but I might want to put Mr. Squirrel down here. Waffles in the sky, why not? Let's see. Although I kind of like that configuration. I'll keep it like that. It definitely helps if you have some music playing in the background. I know I did whenever I was creating my vision boards. Anything that just kind of makes you feel good. Whenever going through your magazines, you can kind of also think of it as a journey through your thoughts in symbolism. So every one of these pictures symbolizes something that has to do with my dream of traveling or my goal to travel. So it's a lot of symbolism. And sometimes it's kind of nice when I'm the only one that can interpret it. I'm the only one that knows why there's cheese in the picture. I'm the only one that knows why there's an alpaca or field of lavender or some lavender in there. Sometimes that is okay. It's nice to have something that's completely yours sometimes. So this cheese, guess I'll put it right there. Kind of like it in front of the squirrel. Notice how I'm changing things up as I go along. I feel like it is important to be flexible in any kind of art process. Something that you're doing may not make sense when you're sort of doing the preliminary, I guess, mock-ups, if you want to call them that, but it might make sense later after you've had time to just sort of sit or let your thoughts sit for a bit. I kind of want to move that actually. There. This glue, I know this glue is gonna dry clear, so I'm not too worried about that. I moved it. So here's my little comfort spot. Got my blankets, my little Airbnb section there. I stayed at this Airbnb in Oklahoma a few years ago, and still one of my favorite places. Here we go. Now this one is a little bit thicker, so again, I am glad that I have these. I'm glad that I have that thicker glue. Okay, I kind of wish I'd had another printed picture to put up here. Don't think I do. All right. Just gonna add a pillow or two pillows here first. Then I can show you some of the last things that you can put on your vision board. Just little pieces of filler. There. Okay, so have everything there. This little spot right here, it's not very tidy. It's very, very stark. It's very much a contrast between the two pictures. So I think that now's a good time to show you what you can do to sort of fix some edges and also add that filler that I keep mentioning. Just to show you again what I'm talking about, it's this kind of thing. So I drew a little mountain doodle with some grass. It's kind of like a mountain meadow here. And of course, a flower. This was actually a doodle that I had from my sketchbook from a long time ago. There's that. There's stars here. So why don't I go ahead and draw some stars? That way you can kind of see what it looks like. So I've got my paper here. It's just a regular paper. It's very wobbly. Got a star here. Definitely looks more like a doodle than anything else. Don't want you to go too much in depth with what you're drawing for this stage. Just need a few things here and there. That's usually kind of what I do. I don't really like to spend too much time on little things like that. There we go. I can even put a few little embellishments next to it, just to give it a little bit of motion, vibrancy, if you want to call it that. You can totally tell I planned that, right? Just kidding. Okay. So I could, if I wanted to, I could just kind of use them all together. So kind of keep them in a shape like this, but I do want to spread them out. So cutting out the whole thing, the whole block. Just kind of take your time with anything you're cutting. Forgot to mention that earlier. Always take your time. I did smudge that a little bit. I can always cut that off. Okay, almost done here. For the sake of having a star shape, I think I'm just gonna leave that part out. Very easy to place these stars onto any area that you just kind of want to clean up. There are easy ways to do that, and this is one of them. Remember that trash can I said to have nearby? Now it's probably a good time to have one. There we go. Okay, so I can just kind of take this guy here, glue that there if I wanted to. I have more stars to glue. I don't need too much glue for this part. Okay, so that's one kind of element that you can add. And of course, if there's any other kind of imagery that you want to add on to it, then of course, by all means, do that. Print out as many small images as you want. Clip art, maybe, if you like clip art, print that out too. Where can I put this one? Here, maybe? Maybe right here. There. Now, last but not least, if you have some sort of marker, like maybe a Sharpie, or maybe any sort of gel pen, you could actually draw on your picture as well. And here is, I created a little cheat sheet, if you want to call it that. Here it is. Very easy for your desk to get very messy. So I made a little cheat sheet of different types of little doodles that you can draw on top of your vision board. So this is just to add a little bit of artistic flair to it. So little dots. I don't know what to call this thing. Swirly stars, things like that. And let me just point out what I did on this one. So swirlies going into the mountains. Swirlies are probably some of my favorite little doodles to do. Got some stars up here to go with these stars. So little embellishments. What should I draw? Now these are handy little, I guess, marker pens. I don't know what you call them. Handy little markers, I guess, that kind of write on top of anything that I have. So maybe I can put some stars on top of my cheese. I think they look like stars. I hope they look like stars. There we go. Stars up here in the sky. So please be creative with your piece. I can make some little swirlies. What else did I have in here? I had spirals, I had paisleys, dashes. I guess I'll just show you one more. I do swirlies on so many of my things. There. I think my favorite part of this is probably the llama in the background. I've been wanting to go to Chile for a very long time. So, well, there you have it. There is my little vision board. It's rife with lots of symbolism. So please take your time with these magazines, with these internet clippings, all of that. Take your time with it. Make it something that you want to hang up. So take your time with arranging everything on the board. Look up ideas or look up things that you can draw on top of it or things that you can add to it. Those little embellishments like that. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this project. I really hope that you're more than welcome to send it in if you want to show off a little bit. Casey, would you like to say something? Oh, you did one! Casey, I'm so happy. Oh, I love it. I wanna can make you bigger. I wanna see. There we go. Okay. Can you hold it up again? Yay! I love it. Can I ask what your theme was? Oh, it's beautiful.
Things I'd like to do this year. So we have going out in the Everglades to see the Milky Way, spending some beach time, some time relaxing. What I'd love to do is plan a trip to China. It's not going to happen, but I'd like to plan it because that's
lovely. Fun. Yeah.
This is a local botanical garden and their orchid house, and just fireworks because I want it to be an awesome year. Oh, and I think there's some quesadillas in there too, because
because quesadillas, they kind of have to be in there.
Right.
Oh, that makes me so happy. Okay, I saw your chat. Yay, you're gonna make one tomorrow. Awesome. That makes me super happy. You are more than welcome to share with us your work if you want to. You definitely don't have to. I always get so excited when I see student work. So, so yeah, it makes me so happy that you did that. Thank you so much for keeping up. I know it was a lot to pack in to one lesson, but I feel like it's a really good way to, I sort of, like I mentioned earlier, goal set, but also remind yourself of what's important to you, no matter what form that may take. So super happy to see China on your vision board, Casey. I've been to China and oh my goodness, it is so amazing. So
I'll have to ask you all about that sometime.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Cool. Are there any questions from either of you? All right. Very cool. I'd say this was a very successful, amazing class. And I can't wait to do it again. Can you put words? Oh yeah, of course. So the only reason I didn't put words in mine, it's because I'm more of a visual person. So I'm not really one for quotes, but I have seen plenty of vision boards that actually, that's something that you might be able to write on your scrap piece of paper if you wanted to actually write it all out, make it all pretty, and cut it out and paste it on top of whatever you have here. You can certainly do that. That would look really nice too. I know some people who have put quotes in their vision boards. Anything that really speaks to you, really, whether it be a Bible verse or just anything from a book, perhaps. What else do you see? I know that I've seen vision boards where they will literally look through the magazines, through the wording on the magazines, and they might make it a little game and find a word that goes with their phrases and then cut out the word itself and then transpose or like glue those words from different places together. I hope that makes sense. Like I just pointed to this word necessary just randomly. But if you have like a certain quote that you want to put on there, look through your magazine and look for the words themselves. You could even conversely even print it out to print out the different words in different typeface, perhaps. Just sort of play around with it on the computer if you wanted to do that. So yeah, certainly words are great for that. There any other questions from you guys?
I just wanted to say, Erica just joined us. Erica, I think you must have gotten the time wrong based on what time zone you're in. We actually started 50 minutes ago, but this class was recorded and it will be posted on our YouTube channel. And we hope that you'll join us for next week's class 50 minutes earlier.
Yes. I even have a picture of what we'll be doing next week as well. I can show that if you guys want to see it.
Great.
Yay. Okay, share screen. Let me make sure it's pulled up first. Okie dokie. Okay, so I take that back. It's not next week's class. It is the week after that, because next week is, I believe, Martin Luther King Day.
Martin Luther King Day, yes. The week after next.
Yes, so that would be January 24th. We will be doing this. Can you guys see it? Is it sharing?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, good. Yes, so we are going to be doing this sort of like river scenery, all with crayon. So just a paper and crayon is all you need. And this is kind of the kind of technique that I personally enjoy doing, because it helped me to regain that balance that was needed in my life in terms of trying to wrestle with an MS diagnosis. And I'll explain a little bit more of that next time as well. But I feel like the scribbles have a lot to do with that. You can see lots of scribbling going on there and in the river as well. So I'll explain that next time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's stop the sharing now. There you go. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And Erica, next time would be amazing if you wanted to join us next time.
Thank you, Hannah.
Yes, you're welcome, you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.